you've talked quite a lot about your kind of like past with alcohol. I've got to touch on the documentary because I loved it.
Thank you.
You know, thank you so much for doing that.
Oh.
It meant a lot to me, you know, and I'm getting a bit hairs on my arms and standing up, you know, because, you know, since I did a doc and
Yeah.
the question that I got asked
brilliant.
the most, thank you, afterwards on social media, the messages I get aren't from the addict.
No, I know.
They're not from the addict suffering. They're from the person who loves the addict, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to cry. I'm really sorry.
And it's I could too. And they just want to know what to do and how to help. I kind of like was really strong with Emma about her being part of it, because I was like, this is the part that doesn't get talked about enough. You know, the effect that it has on the people that love them, you know, is so huge. And I think you really shone a light on that. And that was really, really brave of you to do that. And so publicly. You know, I mean, it's
Don't do things by halves.
Absolutely, which is fucking so brave and courageous to do that. How was that going into it?
It was really daunting. It was like a really scary process. Obviously, my dad, who, for anyone who hasn't seen it, the doc was called Vicky Pattison, Alcohol, My Dad and Me. My dad has been an alcoholic as long as I've known him, you know.
Yeah.
And my mum truly believes like he's always been an alcoholic. Ever since he was young, he hasn't enjoyed alcohol the same way everyone else did. There was something underlying there. And from when I was small, even when I was really too young to be understanding this, I knew it was a secret.
Right.
And I knew he didn't tell anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I didn't know why. I didn't know why we're keeping a secret, but I knew he didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And like, that's an awful big responsibility for someone so young.
Absolutely. You're carrying that around.
Yeah.
You know, that
and like,
must be so hard.
it does. It weighs heavy on you.
Yeah.
And
you're not realising it at the time.
Nah, you're not
aware
fully
of that.
comprehending it.
You're absolutely not, but you know you don't talk about this.
Yeah. And so if you've got any, like, so for years I just felt like I felt alone. And like I say, for years we didn't talk about it and didn't speak. And my dad's had like loads of health problems related to his alcoholism. You know, he's had 2 heart attacks, a stroke, cirrhosis of the liver. And it's been like an ongoing thing for him and our family, you know, his recovery and the peaks and troughs of that. Because anybody who, you know, has experience with alcoholism or any sort of addiction, they know that it's not linear.
Absolutely.
So I myself had quite a complicated relationship with alcohol. And the older I got, the more scared I became that there was this huge genetic element to it.
Yeah.
And almost like it didn't matter like how many green juices I drank or yoga retreats I went to or dry jans I did.
Yeah.
The inevitable was still going to happen and I was going to end up like me dad. And I sort of had loads of therapy and stuff, and I've got like a life coach. I spoke about it openly to the people I cared about, and I always felt better when I spoke about it, you know.
Yeah.
And I realised like there must be loads of other people out there keeping the secrets of their family members and even keeping their own secrets and feeling like because of a fear of judgment or a fear of like, God, like breaking the stigma or whatever, that they can't talk about it. And I became really, I suppose, a bit passionate about the idea that I didn't want anyone to struggle with it alone, like I had for so long, like my family had. So we decided to make the documentary and hopefully help like the children and the family members of alcoholics realise, like, I suppose they're not alone, but also, you know, help people understand a little bit about addiction as well, because there's so much misinformation.
Absolutely.
It was really hard. We tried to make it for a while and it didn't feel right, and we eventually found its home at Channel 4, which we were really proud of, what we made in the end, but it wasn't easy.
You know, I mean, having those conversations with somebody is so hard, you know. And what I found really interesting was, I say interesting and heartbreaking, was the fact that your mum had been able, from a perception-wise of a viewer, been able to kind of disassociate with it. You know, like it was something which was, she'd been able to move past that. But for a child, you know, they can't. No. You know, there's a love and there's a fucking connection there forever, you know, and you're always going to be going through that, you know. So how do you deal with that with your family setup? You know, like how is it talked about?
For the partner of somebody with addiction or whatever, like there is the opportunity to go.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
like exactly like you say.
Yeah.
You can leave. You can, you know, have a new life and have a new chapter. And listen, I'm not judging anybody. Like,
Yeah.
I watched me mum try and save me dad for
Yeah.
years. And I'm really happy she's got this like next chance to be happy in a different
Absolutely.
stage of her life. She absolutely deserves it. And, you know, March will never stop loving me dad. She'll like
Yeah.
always have a very special place in her heart for me dad, but she just wanted something different and she deserved it.
Absolutely.
But he will always be my dad.
Yeah.
He won't always be her husband.
Yeah.
But he will always be my dad. I find that like that dynamic very difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because, you know, a parent is meant to look after you, protect you.
Yeah.
And that's what you're conditioned to believe. But for a lot of children, that's not the case.
Yeah.
I became involved with a charity called NACOA, the National Association for the Children of Alcoholics. And I was shocked to like find out, you know, just because the whole nature of this disease, like the whole nature of addiction, is it like it becomes like you feel alone, like you don't tell anyone about it, it's secret, you're ashamed.
Yeah.
Like it makes you feel like secular, like no one else can help. But actually there's loads of people going through
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
You know, and like when I started to be vocal, like you say, about me dad's addiction, my problems with substance abuse and stuff like that, it was shocking to me how many people reached out and said like, I lost a parent, or I'm going through something similar, or, you know, I thank you so much for speaking up. It allowed me to address me dad's drinking habits or something, you know. So I feel like I'm so pleased we did what we did, because it's, I don't know, maybe it's allowing other people kind of to talk about their family problems as well. Just shining a light on something that does need more candour, more honesty, more open discourse.
Yeah.
Because there is still this huge stigma surrounding alcoholism and addiction. Like people
Absolutely.
still walking around saying it's selfish, saying it's
Yeah.
like a choice. Like
Yeah.
it kills us when people say things like that. Because I know if my dad
Yeah.
would be anything else, he would be.